Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. India is a secular country and it's diverse in nature. We have people who follow different religions. We have people who speak different languages. We have people who come from different caste and culture. They follow different traditions and also celebrate their own festivals. Some festivals are celebrated by a set of people or religion, whereas other festivals are celebrated by almost everyone. It's because people have invested so much of time, so much of emotions into celebrating these festivals and, forwarding it to the next generations. People have attached memories into these celebrations, these festivals, that it has become an integral part of our life. As time passed, things got changed. In order to enhance this energy, we started replacing older things. For example, the Nasik band is replaced by the EDMs, DJ music. During the Visurgin of Lord Ganesha during Ganesh Chaturthi, the beautifully lit diyas are replaced by firecrackers, as you rightly heard. Personally, I have no problem, and it's one's own will to celebrate in whichever way they want. But you must understand here, there's a fine line that divides sound and noise, a fine line that divides light and glare, a fine line that divides the energy, the spirit, the enthusiasm of celebrating festival and the over-enthusiasm which may cause damage and harm and take away the happiness, the spirit, the very reason for which we celebrate festivals. On this note, I'd like to draw your attention to the recent Supreme Court decision of banning the sale and purchase of crackers in the NCR region of Delhi. As soon as this judgment was passed, there were a huge number of people who came down to Twitter and social media and wrote everything possible, that this judgment is anti-Hindu, this judgment is anti-Diwali. For some time even I thought the same. But going into the details of the judgment, I realized that this ban was region-specific, location-specific, and not festival-specific. And it would not be right on our part to give this judgment a communal angle and see through the angle of environmental pollution. Delhi is a gas chamber, we all know that. And it comes in the list of one of the most polluted cities in the world. And it's also a true fact that there's a spike in the pollution levels post the. There are a number of reasons associated with this. Diwali comes in a winter season. And during winter season, the presence of smoke and moisture content makes it difficult for the smoke to disperse. The smoke along with this fog get mixed and becomes smoke. And these particles gets suspended in the lower atmosphere for a very long time. PM 2.5 micrograms per meter cube. This is the unit in which the pollution levels are measured. The safe PM 2.5 levels set by international standards is 25. India has its own level, which is 60 micrograms per meter cube. But it's shocking to hear that the average level of Delhi for almost 900 to 240 micrograms per meter cube. And this level shoots up to 500 to 600 and sometimes to 1000, 20 to 30 times more than the actual safe levels. And unlike other metropolitan cities like Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, Delhi doesn't have the luxury of being at the coastal areas. These coastal cities have the luxury of coastal winds, cleaning up the air for them. And also Delhi is situated near Punjab, which is one of the most productive land for agriculture. And during this season, most of the crops that were grown previous to this season are burnt. And most part of the smoke does come to the regions of Delhi and NCR. And what's more shocking is that this air pollution is responsible for the death of around 10,000 to 30,000 people in Delhi annually. Now, if these facts doesn't convince you to support the judgment of Supreme Court, I don't know what else could be. Now, there will be some people who will question me, what about the rest of the year? Probably 200 to 240 PM 2.5 micrograms per meter cube is not a satisfactory level of pollution in which we should be living. But to those people, I would like to ask back a few questions. What do you have to say about the recent Delhi Metro fee hike? On one hand, you say to use the public transport in order to curb pollution. But on the other side, you keep on increasing the fees and it becomes so costly that you have to ultimately go and hire a private cab, which again contributes to the pollution. For this, you may counter by saying that we have around 3,000 crores of loan which needs to be repaid to Japan, who has helped us in building this metro. To this argument, I would just want to humbly suggest that please audit the financials of the Delhi Metro. And I'm damn sure that you will find that in order to repay these loans, you don't have to hike the fees and put the burden on public, but rather make sure that the electricity distribution companies which give electricity to the metro has to lower their hike. How is that during the Sheila Dikshit's government, the average electricity bill a Delhi person pays was around rupees 5,000, and as the government changed, the electricity bill reduced to half. We need to fix the leakages in the system. We need to cut out these middlemen, and probably we can improve the situation. Our priority should be the safety of railways over the luxury of bullet train. Now, I'm not really against bullet trains, but when disasters like the Elphinstone Bridge happens, a thought runs in my mind, do we have to invest on new projects or should we improve the existing system? The disaster took away 23 innocent lives just due to the negligence. On the other hand, our priority should be fixing the civic problems that our vibrant city Bengaluru has over the planning of the Silver Jubilee celebration of Vidhan Sauda at a cost of 26 crores, distributing gold and silver coins or plates to the decayed politicians. 10 innocent lives was lost due to the negligence of civic bodies. People are killed due to potholes. Seriously? The population of Bengaluru will only be increasing in the coming years. 3 crore people, 3 crore more people will be getting into the city. So what is the plan? Will you be giving the same old reasons, blaming the rains, blaming the blockage of stormwater drains? Come on, grow up.
Hello,
Do
Macha.
your duties, please.
Focus on the Diwali topic, Macha.
So where was I? Supreme Court. This is not the first time that Supreme Court has intervened in the festival like Diwali. 12 years back, in 2005, the Supreme Court had notified the Department of Explosive to check and regulate the composition of firecrackers. You know how much chemicals, how much heavy metals, etc. should be mixed in order to make it safe. Supreme Court also notified the PESO, Petroleum and Explosive Safety Organization, in order to set guidelines for the manufacturers. By the way, PESO is an authority which gives license to firecracker manufacturers. It did set few guidelines, like the composition should have sulfur but should not exceed 20%. The content of nitrate should not exceed 57%. The content of aluminium should not exceed 25%. But it failed to set guidelines for these heavy metals like magnesium, copper, which are responsible for the coloring, glittering and sparkling effect of these crackers. And these heavy metals are lethal to human beings. They also set other guidelines, like the sound emitting firecrackers should not emit sound more than 125 decibels. The light emitting firecrackers should not emit more than 90 decibels. But the greater question is that, are these regulations, are these guidelines being strictly followed by the manufacturers? You need to pay a visit to Shivakasi, the place where these crackers are manufactured, and should see the conditions in which these people manufacture our crackers. There's this study conducted by Chest Research Foundation, Pune, back in 2016. They measured the PM 2.5 micrograms per meter cube levels emitted by some of the crackers like snake tablet, the anarkali, the fuljari, the fulful, the lado of thousand, etc., etc. And what was shocking to find was that, let's take the example of snake tablet. One snake tablet burnt at a particular point of time emits smoke which is equivalent to 464 cigarettes being smoked. And to worsen these situations, these firecrackers have heavy metals like magnesium, copper. And these firecrackers like snake tablets or fuljari, these are used by small children, barely from a foot or two. And you can imagine how much of this smoke gets into the lungs of these tiny tots. Have you observed the animals like the dog, pet dogs, cats? They go crazy. And don't ask about the conditions of asthma patients and people who have heart ailments. There is a hell for them. And before I wind up the whole thing, I would like to remind you that this is not the first instance that the Supreme Court has intervened. It has intervened in the during the Krishna Janmashtami in Maharashtra. Recently, it intervened in the Jallikattu races, where the bullocks are used, and it's a regional festival in Tamil Nadu and most part of Karnataka, Maharashtra, Punjab, where bullocks are used for races. It intervened in the Santara rituals that were taking place in Rajasthan. So these are a few instances where the Supreme Court had an intervention. As responsible citizens, people have recently moved from the colorful Ganesha to eco-friendly Ganesha during Ganesh Chaturthi. And I hope even Diwali gets eco-friendly in the future. And if you still find that the Supreme Court's judgment was against Hindu festival, then you are free to think so. And you can surely celebrate your Deepavali with firecrackers. Anyways, happy Deepavali and thank you one and all.